your response to Republicans who say this move should cost you your job and that if you don't resign, they will try to oust you?
I am not resigning, and it is, in my view, an absurd notion that someone would bring a vacate motion when we are simply here trying to do our jobs. It is not helpful to the cause. It is not helpful to the country. It does not help the House Republicans advance our agenda, which is in the best interest of the American people here, a secure border, sound governance, and it's not helpful to the unity that we have in the body. Look, we are in unprecedented times, okay? We're in dangerous times, as has been articulated here, around the world, and here at home. We need steady leadership. We need steady hands at the wheel. Look, I regard myself as a wartime speaker. I mean, in a literal sense, we are. I knew that when I took the gavel. I didn't anticipate that this would be an easy path. We're gonna work this out today, and we'll have a lot more comment for you today, for you later. But I'm going to tell you that I am not concerned about this. I am going to do my job, and I think that's what the American people expect of us. Thanks so much.
Is it calling their bluff, Mr. Speaker?
Mike Johnson said in an interview with CBN before his joint press conference with President Trump.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're going to speak to her this week. Have you spoken to her?
I've tried. I tried over the 2-week break. She wasn't interested in speaking, and that's okay. Look, Marjorie is upset about the spending bill, and guess what? So am I. It's not the bill that I would have drafted or all of us would have drafted if we had the majority in the House and the Senate and had a Republican president that would sign it into law. But instead, we have Democrats in those other two chambers, the Senate and, of course, the Oval Office. And so they know over here that we have a 1-vote margin, so I have virtually zero leverage to be able to negotiate and get a better package. So the alternative was binary. We either do that or we shut the government down. And our evaluation was exactly what the polls affirmed. If we shut the government down, it would be very painful for the American people. They would blame the Republicans, and we would lose the House majority. So that was not a real choice that we had.
Speaker Johnson was asked directly why he believes it's worth losing his job potentially over putting aid to Ukraine on the floor, and he said it's because it's the right thing to do. What do you make of that response from the Speaker?
He's serving Ukraine first and America last, and that would be the worst thing to do for a United States House of Representatives Speaker, third in line to the President of the United States, to do nothing for American citizens. Think about this. Monday was tax day. So as Americans were paying their hard-earned tax dollars to this government, the Republican Speaker is hinging his entire ability to stay Speaker on sending $60 more billion to Ukraine. I can't think of a worse betrayal ever to happen in United States history.
On April 18th, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene offered an amendment to the Ukraine aid bill. Its contents are: 1. Legislators voting in favor of the bill must enlist in the Ukrainian armed forces. 2. Funds cannot be spent until Ukraine completes the following. 1. Hold presidential elections. 2. Closure of all biological research laboratories. 3. Reporting of past research to the U.S. This is both thrilling and seems like a plausible argument. So why would President Trump, who wants to stop the war, support Mike Johnson instead of Marjorie? Essentially, he would be pushing for Marjorie and Matt Gaetz. At least, that was the case with Kevin McCarthy.
A really good job under very tough circumstances. He was voted in, and it was a complicated process, and I think it's not an easy situation for any speaker. I think he's doing a very good job. He's doing about as good as you're going to do, and I'm sure that Marjorie understands that. She's a very good friend of mine, and I know she has a lot of respect for the Speaker. No, I stand with the Speaker. We've had a very good relationship.
Unfortunately, the amendment was rejected before the spending bill was voted on. Marjorie posted on X a list of House Republicans who oppose the amendment. There are 139 of them. And the Ukraine aid bill received 101 Republican yeses. The total number of votes in favor was 311 from both parties, while only 112 Republicans voted against the bill.
On this vote, the ayes are 311 and the nays are 112. The bill is passed. Oh, one voting present. I missed it.
What country's Congress is this? This bill could have been blocked if the Republicans were unanimous. President Trump said at a press conference.
Just a little bit less than 7 months before November 5th, but that's an eternity when people are incompetent.
And Mike Johnson is.
With President Trump as our nominee in the party, we are very much looking forward to that historic day in November, because we are going to grow the House majority, we're going to win the United States Senate, and we're going to win back the White House as well. The American people need us to do that. They're excited for that day in November, cannot get here soon enough.
Matt Gaetz put it this way. Mike Johnson has surrendered to the Democrats. It is tantamount to surrender. If the spending bill had been voted on through the arguments of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz, would all the Republicans now have voted yes? This bill had to be brought to its knees by Mike Johnson. What if the Trump Republican policy bill should not have looked as if it had been defeated? Maybe I am overthinking it. Maybe Mike Johnson is a traitor and will be eliminated, as many have said.
I understand why she's upset. She's frustrated that we can't score touchdowns on every single play. But the reality of the situation here is that we have to do this incrementally. We've got to demonstrate to the American people that we can keep the train on the tracks. And so pulling a motion to vacate, removing the speaker right now, is exactly the opposite of what we need to show the country. We can't close the Congress down, because that's what will happen. Sure. They will blame us, right? And so it won't hurt our chances of growing the majority, or our party, or President Trump's chances for his election, because all of our fates, in some sense, are tied together.
And that's why I say that November 5th is going to be the most important day in the history of our country. That's the election. It's going to be the most important day in the history of our country. Thank you very much. And Speaker, thank you.